Today, which is was Saturday this morning, I took my original intent was to take 3 cows and 2 heifers into sell into the auction, and had them all set up and everything. And last night I decided to pull the 2 heifers out because one of them just looks pregnant. There was no I don't know if she just kept bad records this year or whatever, but there was no. She should have had. If she was going to have a baby, she should have had it in June, early July, and but she just looks so pregnant. And even when you feed her, if they've got something in them late term, you'll see the animal moving around inside of her. And that's what I was seeing it last night. I said I can't take her to sell. So anyway, I ended up taking these 3 older cows they've had for 10 years, to the auction this morning. Done it many times. Typically I'll pull in, they do the paperwork, tag them, I'll load them off the trailer, I get my paper, and I'm out of there. I haven't bought any cattle or sheep or anything in a long time. I pretty much pull things for my own. I've been selling, not buying anything. And so a couple times a year, you get your crop, get your animals you cull out, and you take them to sell. Well, I'm taking these cows, so I'm shrinking the herd is what I'm doing. I've talked about this many times. But I had to write a check on Thursday, and I got to get money in the bank on Monday. Well, typically I'll take the animals in to sell on Saturday. By Wednesday, Thursday, they mail me the check. I take it to the bank. Well, I didn't have that option today, so I had to sit there and wait for the sale, for my animals to go through the sale to get my check. And which takes a couple hours typically. Well, I first get there, there's not many cows. So, okay, this is pretty good. I'll do pretty well today. And I'm thinking, then I see these, see a real nice horse they have for sale. Yeah, but they have 3 really nice looking bulls, young Hereford bulls. These things are about a year and a half old. And I say, and I don't see a lot of Hereford bulls around here in my region where I'm at. Everything's either Black Angus or something else. And every now and then, I don't go to the auction to buy anymore, so I don't see what's going on. But it was 3 really nice looking Hereford bulls. They're in the same pen, so they're probably owned by the same seller. And I don't need them. But in the past, I've had long stretches where there isn't any good stock coming in. You pick up what you can when it's available. And I sure as hell don't have the money. But I'm looking at these bulls and I'm thinking, oh man, I'm sizing them up as far as their weight and such. I'm thinking, well, if they went for under $1,000 a piece, I'm gonna get one of them. I'm rationalizing it in my mind. I got doctor bills and I got no money to do this kind of thing. But the whole time I'm sitting there thinking, well, I at least want to hang around and see what they sell for. But I can't do that. I still went in and you get a number. If you're going to buy something, you got to go in, give me your information, and give you a tag with a number on it. You bid at your number. And so I went that far. But I told myself, okay, if they go over $1,000, you can't touch them. Can't rationalize it, you know. $1,000 and 1 penny, you cannot buy these. So meanwhile, I've got to wait. I got to get this check, which typically I probably would have went back home, got some chores done, then went back in the afternoon to go pick up the check. But there wasn't a whole lot of cows there. I didn't think it was going to take very long. And I wanted to see what was happening with these. I have an interest in these 3 young bulls, Hereford bulls. And so I'm sitting there and waiting. 45 minutes, hour goes by. They sell goats and sheep first. Then they get ready to start bringing the cattle in. Here comes the trucks. They start unloading dairy cattle. Now, typically, I've done really well the past 3-4 times I've went, because when my cattle sold, there were not a lot of cattle there. It's a numbers game. And there haven't been very many dairy cattle. I mean, I could look in the pens. The majority of the pens are empty. All of a sudden, they start unloading all these dairy cattle. Well, and your feed lots and all that stuff, they prey on all that. So what happens is you now have an abundance of cattle for sale. It drives the price down of the cattle overall. So I know I'm going to take it in the butt on this. I think, okay, this is gonna cost me. I did okay, but had those not shown up, there would have been fewer cattle and people pay a lot more for them. Supply and demand. So today just wasn't my day. I did very well the past 4 or 5 times, so it was my turn. Um, so I've already got this time there. I've got to hang around. I'm waiting for these bulls. Now I got all these dairy cattle coming in. And so no, that's not going to go over so well. And so this thing is taking longer than normal. So I basically, for about 2 hours, just sat on the outside of the pen watching cows come in, watching animals go through the, into the cell ring and all that stuff. And I haven't done that in a long time. You see a lot of messed up cattle. You see some deformed cattle. If they're living, they could sell them. A totally twisted up steer, something wrong, birth defect or whatever, still sells for $300, $400, $500. So people sell these things. And it's kind of sad you see stuff like that. Then one and all these dairy cattle coming in. I don't think they go to feedlots necessarily. They pretty much go right to like a Cargill or a meat plant, and they get processed like within 24 hours. They're done. And so you're standing there watching all these animals crammed in these pens, and this is their last day. It's over. And one of them had a baby, which is typical. One of them dropped a baby, and she's got 24 hours to live, and she's going to have a kid. But they treated it right. They got the other animals out of the way, left her in her own pen, which is I think because they have more women working there now, they're a little more sensitive to the animals, which is a good thing. They used to have a lot of dingbats working in there. But anyhow, I'm watching this animal, one cow's, she's calving, having a baby. Another one goes lame. She can't get up. She's done. And so they can't sell them like that. You can't. They have to be ambulatory to get into a meat locker. There's some state laws and stuff there, but she's a mess. And you just see all these animals that are, mutts, not necessarily the best breeding, and the majority of them, this is their last day, or they're going to a feedlot, and very soon it's going to be their last day. And so to sit there and watch it, I used to do this before, it didn't bother me, but to sit there and watch these animals today, even a couple of my own, knowing that they're off to McDonald's, man, it bugged the hell out of me. It was more than I could take today. And I know I don't like watching my cattle I won't go into the ring when they're selling my cattle. I don't like watching that. Bugs me. And I've had older ranchers tell me this, that they get to a point where they get tired of it. You deal with life because animals are being born, and then you're keeping them alive, and then you're dealing with death. Sometimes they die, sometimes you make them die, And where I've had guys see that was one of the things they got tired of, and I thought, wow, because it didn't used to bother me at all. I mean, I put countless dogs down, sheep, goats, how to put a horse down, did it all myself, And originally it was difficult, but as you kind of get used to that, you just get it over with quickly. But just lately, and I think because I've been avoiding the auctions for the most part, I haven't had to go other than drop them animals off. But I don't like to. I think I'm getting to that point now where I'm seeing an aspect of this business or this industry that it ain't for me anymore. I like cattle. I'm not getting out of cattle, but just the whole. And I've been thinking about this for a while. When I had about a year and a half ago, I had a breeched lamb. We had to go into the ewe, try to turn the kids around and get them out correctly. It went poorly. Everybody died. And I think that was kind of a turning point for me. That's like, okay, I don't want to be a part of that anymore. It's either and bad things happen. You can't control that. But I think the death part of the whole thing is weighing on me more than it used to. And these old guys used to tell me this. I thought it had something to do with the fact that they were getting older, knowing that maybe their time was soon or that. And it really has nothing to do. It doesn't have anything to do with me, but my participation in the whole thing is starting to bug me. And like I said, I love raising cattle and all that. I really enjoy it. But I just don't like that whole auction yard experience thing anymore. I'm not going to put myself through that again. It might be something else. I don't know. Like I said, I enjoy being born. I enjoy keeping them and raising them up. But I might figure out a different way to sell them, do that, or just get a much, much smaller herd. That way we just eat what we have. But had a real nice horse there. And I'm glad she went for $106, which is, this happens. But this was a nice horse. And I'm like, oh man, that's, kind of glad that went first. Because I was waiting for the bulls. Had I missed the bulls, which I did, then if the horse came, I'd have picked up that horse. Not that I didn't need another horse, but the bulls went for like, if they were $1.20 a pound, I'd have bought them. They went for like $1.70 a pound or something. That's why I jumped out. But and I kind of got into my old mindset. Oh man, you got to have these bulls. You got to have these bulls, knowing full well I don't need them. So it was discipline for me not to try to rationalize and get stupid and buy them when I don't need them. But back in the day when I had a little bit younger, a lot more money, I'd have bought all three of them. I'd have brought them all home. Because I know what it's like to be. I've had spells there where I was in between bulls and trying to find a bull, borrow a bull, because you're going to these auctions, you can't find any that's worth breeding to your herd. So say a bull died or something like that. Your breeding plan starts on, let's say it's September 1. You don't have a bull. All of a sudden you need to come up with something, and quick. And so when I see anything good like that, you hate to let it go by. I'd have bought all three of them before, used one to breed, and then either sold or put one in the freezer or something like that. But and I would not have cared back then. I would not have cared with I used to take my number. Like they give you a tag with your number on it. And a lot of guys, you'll see them at auctions. They're sitting in the stands and they'll just this kind of thing. And the auctioneer they had today, I couldn't understand a damn thing he was saying. Yeah, but just people out there going, oh, 1 point, 125, whatever thing, 130, this kind of stuff. I used to get out of my chair, I'd walk down to the edge of the ring, up to the cage, because it's screened, because there's cattle. And as soon as the animal I want comes into the ring, I'm down there, and I would mash my number right up against the screen. Hold it right up there so the guy could see me. Okay. And then what I'd do, I'd sit there and I wouldn't take it down because I'm leaving with this bull. And so he would sit there and he'd start, $1.10, $1.15, whatever the case is. Someone else would be bidding, and I'm looking at them like, whatever. I want them to know that no matter what, I'm leaving with this bull. And typically what they'll do is they'll bail out quick. They say, well, this guy could have quit. No reason, bidding. And they won't try to bid it up. You always think, well, what if they try to bid me up? But they don't. Whereas if you're staying in the stands and you're doing that little, kind of thing, the bids will just take off and keep going. I would run down to the edge of that ring, pound on that cage, and I want the auctioneer to know, I'm taking this bull home. You say whatever you got to say. I'm standing here until you call this thing. And typically the other people would shut down. They'd stop bidding. And he'd just start laughing. Because most people, they're very, when they do the auction thing, they kind of hold back and they do that little, that's a waste of time, man. You got to go down there, you got to bully the whole thing. You just jump down and say, this is my bull, I'm going home with it. Here's my number. Don't even look over, ain't no reason to. And when they start bidding, you just look at them like, I'm taking this thing home. You can do whatever the hell you want. I'm filling my trailer. And I steal all kinds of animals that way. But today, I got a lot more discipline and no money. But at the end of the day, I got my check. And that's what counts. We did okay. But kind of an eye-opener, having to sit there and watch all the animals up. Just really, didn't bug me before, but it did bug me today. Just, I don't know, got to change the way I'm doing stuff or something. But it was, and it was a long day too. This thing went on forever. Anyhow, I'm just rambling on. Next time you go for an auction or something, make a fool out of yourself. Run out there, bully the auctioneer, or you take that thing. Love you.